Good morning. This is my hyperdoc on human impact on ecosystems. I created this task as a means for extending what students already know about how ecosystems interact. Our first step was an engagement piece where we looked at a Nearpod. It's not LinkedIn because I don't have the extended version in Nearpod, but essentially we're reviewing information we knew about the flow of matter, such as the vocabulary. We're extending that to the idea of an environmental issue, where environmental issues really disrupt that flow. And I'm giving them real life context to interpret that in different multimedia ways. Nearpod's really engaging for them, and they're generally pretty interested. From there, they pick an issue that they want to research further, and their source is LinkedIn. They're either written, video, or a read aloud of a written source so that there's different levels of support. And choice is also an important differentiation element here in their exploration section. After they're done with that explore, they actually are invited to explain the one issue they researched using a Google slide. I linked in a video here that they can view. Oh, that link is not. Oh, I'm sorry. That's only down here. They are proficient here with the Google Slides. So they went through and they created a Google slide on our Google Classroom post. And we can kind of see, go back to my instructions. This was the Google Classroom post. So all they had to do was create slide. From there, where it did start to get new, and that's where we see that instructional video I was referencing, was they created a plain text document from said slide. And basically, what I wanted them to do was get the idea that an informational essay is a grouping of main idea and details. So when they copied as plain text, it kind of does that for them. You can kind of see in the little cursor here, main idea and details become their paragraphs. And then their only job there is to go ahead and extend and stretch those paragraphs with their own inferential knowledge. I found that worked really well because it gave their clear paragraphs for them. Then they went to our classroom Padlet so that they could share their presentation and get feedback. That's what you'll see here. We've actually already been doing this in class, so there should be a ton that pop up here. Yep. So that they can get feedback. I did teach them how to share it only with sharing enabled and no editing, so that commenting enabled and no editing, so that they can comment on each other's presentations about information more they'd like to see, because they needed to create a project proposal as a part of their extension. And in the project proposal, they told me about their issue, but then they extended it to an opinion realm where they're telling me, well, basically, why should others care and what actions can we take? Now, my hope here was to kind of shift that purpose from informational to opinion, and then they choose a final project, whether it's a video, a podcast, or an infographic. Now, that's where we're at in class right now. They haven't finished their projects, but here in the extension, it kind of defines what I'd like them to do, which is to define their issue, give important reasons. Reasons of the importance, use evidence from their sources in their research, and suggest final actions. They will use a digital media making tool to produce a final product so that the presentations are smooth, but also just because I feel like it's more applicable to their setting. So this will be occurring this week. So I'm very excited to see the products they come up with. They do have some experience in each of these um, realms of creating digital products, but they've never done it independently before. So I appreciated this assignment because it did allow us to have more independent pacing, gave them more autonomy in the topics they're choosing, and just gave them some really applicable skills in how to interact with digital media.